This is David Spooner. Just doing an update that's long overdue. And I just want to apologize for not doing this way sooner and more consistently. It's been, I think, 8 months now, or 7 or 8 months since I had my last operation done, or the stem cell thing done in Barcelona. And there's been actually quite a bit of stuff that's happened since then, and I'm not going to be able to go over everything right now, and I'm not going to be able to say as much as I would want to say right now. I'm just kind of a bit of a perfectionist when doing anything in these videos. I've just been putting it off because I wanted to do them right and have notes and collect my thoughts, but you know, screw it. I'm just gonna put this out there, and hopefully I'll do a good enough job. So there's been, like, the first 5 months I was wearing a waist belt, Velcro waist belt, really tight around my waist, and that I bought from Walmart, but it was fairly good quality. And basically I just didn't do hardly any like activity most of the day, except for getting on the elliptical and doing some planks to strengthen my my core, my abs, and then I went swimming a couple times during those first 5 months after the surgery, or after the stem cell injection. So that was in Virginia, and then I moved back home in March 15th, I think it was, to Idaho here. And the first week I was back, man, I did something, and it really, like, caused a lot of pain. I was in bed for literally like 2 weeks straight. I couldn't get out of bed for more than 10-15 minutes or so. And I finally took the advice of a neighbor and went to a local chiropractor, and his conclusion was that I had a lot of scar tissue, and that was what was causing most of my pain. I explained to him all of my history and where I was at, and that I did have a bulge in my L5-S1 disc, the lowest disc, even though I had stem cell injections done on it. I had the bulge on that disc before I even had the stem cell injections done last October. So what he decided to do, actually I went to him not for an adjustment, but because my neighbor had gone to him before and got what they call prelozone shots, which is like ozone with other, like, vitamin B12 and different some other stuff, I don't know, cartilage material, and it was supposed to be kind of a homeopathic, but naturopath, I don't know, anyway, natural kind of healing, where it caused inflammation to try to get the body to react and heal that area, but also provide the oxygen for it to heal. So, sorry, dishwasher. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. So yeah, I went to him, and I was in so much pain I couldn't drive 10 minutes to get to him, and that was after 2 weeks of being in bed, and I was so, like, in so much pain as soon as I stood up, and even in bed I was in a lot of pain. So I went to him. I was on like 1,000 milligrams of ibuprofen, and to leave, so Yeah, actually, I was on like 1,200 milligrams of. Wow. Okay. So yeah, I was on a lot of ibuprofen, and it still wasn't enough. And I got down there and um, laid down in his office, and he what he did is he adjusted me and then decompressed me by wrapping a towel around my neck, and then putting a Velcro waist belt that strapped me down to the table, and I was laying on my back. And so he took the towel and just wrapped it around my neck real tight, and then just kind of jerked it up like that really hard. And it did the trick. And I could feel my whole spinal column like crack all the way down. And so I was like, man, I hope you know what you're doing, because I'm not in good shape, and I have had surgeries, and my discs are weak and all that, so. But within an hour after I left his office, I already started feeling better, and then like 3 hours later, I was really starting to feel better, and then within like 2 days, I was feeling way better than I was before, and I started to really recover every day after that. Pretty significant progress each day, so I was like, wow, this is great. So I kept going back to him, and for maybe a month or so, and then I was making fairly good progress with that, but not 100% like pain free. And then I had to go to Australia a month and a half ago from now, this date. So, and that was a month after I had first visited him. So when I was in Australia, I was fortunate enough to get all 3 seats on the long haul flight that was like 16 hours long, from Vancouver, Canada to Brisbane, Australia. I had all 3 seats to myself, so I was actually able to just lay down the whole like flight, and that was a huge blessing and saved my back. But after I got there, I wasn't really taking care of my back with walking and doing the planks and different things like that that I should have been doing. And it just kind of progressively got like more painful and worse, and then one night I decided to go running, or I decided to take a walk because I'd spent like a day and a half in bed at that point, and that was a big mistake. Like I mean, the walking wasn't a mistake, but I was like, maybe I'm just babying myself too much, and so I decided to take a pretty good like jog, and just like kind of force myself to do more. And so I ran pretty hard there for I don't know, 5 minutes or so, and then I thought maybe it'll stretch it out or do something, because that has helped in the past sometimes, and but I never did it like when I was feeling that bad. So when I got home back to my mom's place in Australia there, I was in a lot of pain, and then that within an hour after that, I just it just got way worse, and I don't think I've ever been in that much pain in the 10 years that I've been dealing with these back issues. When I first blew out I didn't blow it out, I guess herniated my discs. And before the 2 surgeries, I've never been in that much pain, and I didn't know what to do, and I had already scheduled an MRI as a follow-up MRI for the doctor in Spain to in Australia there, because it's only like $150 and here it's like $2,000 in the US. So I was like, I'm gonna take advantage of this while I'm here. So I had already scheduled that. So 3 days after I went running and severely hurt myself, I had the MRI, and so my mom had this like I don't know, like a van or whatever. So I was able to lay down in that, and she took me into the office, and I couldn't even walk. Yeah, actually, the first 3 days after I went running and hurt myself, I literally did not sleep for 3 days straight because I had to. The only way I could tolerate the pain, even with a bunch of ibuprofen, was by laying on my back, and then I don't know if I can do this. Let's see. I had to lay on my back, and then imagine me laying on my back now, and then I had to take both hands and push really hard with my knees, bent really hard down like that to decompress my spine and try to relax the muscles in my back here. So as soon as I let up on the pressure, the pain just got way worse, and it was already like super bad. I was like, man, I just want to die. And so I knew I really did something bad. So when I got the MRI results back, I'm not going to post them now. I just want to get this video up. But I blew out the lowest disc, the L5S1 disc. The center, jelly stuff inside ended up rupturing out into my spinal column, next to my spinal cord and nerve roots in the spinal canal. And then that like impinges or pinches or puts pressure on the nerves, and that's why I was having so much pain, and it also causes inflammation and agitation, I guess. So that's why what I was dealing with, and so it took me a full like, I think 2 weeks to be able to get on my feet, to be able to walk for more than 10 minutes. But like after a week and a half, I was able to walk 3 minutes. And I was able to get down to the swimming pool at the resort where my mom lives in Australia there, and started swimming. And I figured I wasn't gonna do what I've done in the past and just lay there in bed and try to like recover by taking it like super easy. Even though I just blew my disc out running, I still knew better, and I did make the right call, and I got in the swimming pool as soon as I could, and up on my feet as soon as I could, and started walking as much as I could, and that made a huge difference, I guess, because within less than a week after that, I was already doing really well. Still in pain, but getting around real well, and reduced the amount of ibuprofen I was taking. And after 3 weeks, I was to the point where my pain level was like a 2 or 3 without any ibuprofen, and which was really amazing. But I was swimming every day for 1 to 2 hours a day, and then walking also. And then when I wasn't doing that, I was in bed, and I continued to try to decompress my disc by pushing real hard with both hands on my thighs, like this, and try to stretch the disc out and as much as I could to get the pressure off of it. So that's where I'm at now. I'm trying to get, I actually got one more MRI done right before I left. So that would be 3 weeks after I blew my disc out. So right before I left Australia, I got that done because it's so cheap, and I figured I might as well take advantage of it. So I don't understand the medical terminology on the report, but it seems like they're saying that there was a change, and there was some relief on the spinal column and nerve roots, or the spinal cord and the nerve roots. So I don't know. I'm just gonna keep swimming and as much as I can, walking and working with this and trying to be smarter. And I'm waiting for the surgeon in Mexico that did the first 2 surgeries to get back with me. Trying to get the MRIs down to him so he can look it over. But I did do research on my situation where the disc blows out, and from what I've read, and then I verified it with the surgeon down there, is that when that center material of the disc inside the nucleus or whatever pulpus blows out into the spinal canal, next to the spinal cord in that area, that material after it blows out is called a disc fragment. And from what I understand, that disc fragment, what happens, and I read a study on it actually, and in most cases, if that's left alone without surgery, that disc fragment, what happens is it reduces in volume pretty quick, within several months or 6 months or something, to like 60% or more, which is good because it'll relieve the pressure off of the nerve roots and the spinal cord that it's pinching. And then I asked the doctor in Mexico, and he said that material will eventually get reabsorbed or dissolved by the body. Our bodies will dissolve it, but it takes a long time, he said. And I don't know how long a long time is supposed to be, maybe like a year, 6 months. I don't know, I don't think it's 6 months, but maybe a year, 10 years, I don't know. But eventually the body will dissolve 100% of that material and the disc fragment. But until that happens, it's gonna most likely cause a lot of pain and inflammation, especially if you're not doing physical therapy and trying to work with it right away. I saw surgery on it, and what happens is that disc fragment, the nucleus pulpus, when it blows out, it's like jelly at first, but it doesn't take long before it gets hardened and calcified and becomes real hard. But it also becomes really, it sticks really. It's really, really sticky to the nerve roots and the spinal cord. So if you can imagine this hard thing stuck to your spinal cord or nerve root, and those nerve roots are supposed to be semi-flexible and move in and out of the spinal canal between the vertebrae bones. If that's stuck to your nerve root, it's gonna cause pain because that's gonna like hold it in place when it's trying to move. And so I think in a lot of people's cases, they just spend too much time in bed right after they're injured, and that none of that gets it all gets like really stuck to each other, and there's not that flexibility in there, and then they're stuck with a much worse situation. And so I'm really fortunate because, I mean, as you can see, I'm walking around just fine and doing pretty good, although I am in pain. I would say my pain level is like a 3 or 4 right now because I just got back from Australia a couple days ago, but I expect it to get down to like a 2 or something here in a week or so if I keep working on it. But a lot of people, I think they are suffering pretty bad because they didn't get out and do physical therapy right away after they were injured. And then I don't have it here, but there is one other thing that I was doing that I hadn't done before, and that was something I discovered, and it's called serrapeptase. And I'll try to put it in the comments or something, but it's a natural enzyme, and they discovered it with the silkworms, the worms that make the silk. When the silkworms spin their silk cocoon, and then they're in their cocoon, whatever state in there, and they have to break out of that cocoon. At that point, their body excretes this serrapeptase enzyme, and that enzyme dissolves the silk strands and the cocoon so it can break out. And that the silk strands, fibers are very similar to our scar tissue fiber. And from what I've read in different testimonies, you can take serrapeptase to dissolve scar tissue, the scar tissue fibers that are causing pain from like previous surgeries and injuries, and dissolve that in your body. But it takes 8 months to a year of taking this stuff to fully, get rid of that. So I was taking a lot of that during the first 3 weeks after I injured my disc in Australia, and I think that did help a lot. And that serrapeptase also has other properties and anti-inflammatory properties. So I was taking that on an empty stomach between the ibuprofen, which I had to take with food. So I was consistently getting quite a bit of anti-inflammatory help, I guess, or whatever, between the two of them. So anyway, that is the update. As far as the stem cells go, I still believe in the technology, and I do recommend it, but not to everybody at this point. I would say it's for the discs. There's, in a lot of cases, I think physical therapy would be better. In pretty much any case, I think somebody should start with physical therapy. And then I would say, depending on the situation, either I, I mean, if you have the money or somehow get the insurance to pay for it, I would say go with, stem cells first, after physical therapy or during physical therapy even. And try that first because there's no risk as far as causing more damage to the body. But if you don't have the money, like in my case, which I almost wish I would have just gone ahead and got an artificial disc put in, but I don't know. We'll see how all this turns out. But I think in a lot of situations, an artificial disc would be better. And as far as spinal fusion goes, I'd say in most cases, I don't think it's a very good option at all. Like, I think it's should be like a very last resort situation for only certain cases or something. But just because there's so much damage and future complications and future damage that will be caused by a spinal fusion. But anyhow, again, I apologize for not posting sooner, and this post is really long, so hopefully you guys don't mind since I haven't posted in like 8 months or something. And I will try to just keep you guys updated, even if I don't have my thoughts together or something. I'll just do what I'm doing now and just record something and let you know how things are going. So, all right, thanks and take care and God bless. Bye.